When you mentioned looking for a hands-on career, something with room to grow, well, one option really jumped out at me, and it might surprise you. Um, have you ever thought about like non-woven staple machine operation?
Yeah, it's definitely not the first thing that comes to mind for most people, but it's actually crucial to so many industries.
I know, right? RoleCatcher's career guide. That's what really opened my eyes to it. And honestly, it's fascinating stuff.
hmm
So, okay, let's break it down a bit. What does a non-woven staple machine operator even do all day?
Well, they're basically the masterminds behind all those fabrics we use constantly without even thinking about it. Like the lining in your car, those medical masks we all know too well now, that kind of thing.
That's what got me. We're surrounded by these fabrics, but most of us have zero clue how they're actually made.
Exactly. And that's where our non-woven staple machine operator steps in. They work with these, well, they're pretty amazing machines, actually. These machines take raw materials, fibers, yarns, and through this really controlled process, they transform them into these incredibly versatile fabrics.
The guide uses this phrase, physical non-woven processing operations. And to be honest, at first it sounded kind of intimidating. Could you, I don't know, paint a picture for us? What does that actually look like?
Okay, so picture this. Huge machines, right? They're feeding in all these fibers, and then those fibers get layered, heated, pressurized, even bonded together with these really cool technologies, things like ultrasonic welding. And all of that creates this durable and often incredibly specific type of fabric. Like, think about surgical masks, right? They have to be breathable, but also a barrier.
Right.
And that all comes down to very precise non-woven processing. Pretty cool when you think about it.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see just how much skill, how much precision goes into this. It's not like you're just pushing a button.
Oh, absolutely not. It's a complex
It's
process.
controlling a complex process.
Exactly. And, we'll get into that more, the skills and qualifications you need to really succeed in this role, because there's a real art to it.
It really is like a whole hidden world within these industries. I
Yeah.
mean, the healthcare sector alone, right? I bet they use tons of these specialized fabrics.
Oh, absolutely. Healthcare is a huge one. Think about it. Bandages, gowns, masks, all that has to be sterile, disposable. Non-woven fabrics are perfect for that. But it's way beyond healthcare too, though. Automotive, construction, even things like filtration systems, they all depend on these fabrics.
Okay, so we've got hands-on work. It's in demand across all sorts of industries. Sounds good so far. But is it the right fit for, you,
Yeah.
our listener? So RoleCatcher lays out the pros and cons. They say it's a high-demand field, so that's good news for job security, right? Plus, there's definitely potential to move up, which we know is a priority for you. On the other hand, though, it can be physically demanding, and it often involves a lot of, I guess, repetitive tasks, potentially in a noisy environment. So how do you weigh all that?
Well, I think it all comes down to, what really gets you going, what motivates you. You mentioned enjoying mastering a process in this role. It definitely gives you a chance to do that. And sure, the repetitive part might not be for everyone, but for some people, it's about becoming incredibly skilled at what you do,
Yeah.
perfecting those intricate tasks. And yeah, it can be demanding, but that also means you're active, you're engaged all day, you're not just stuck at a desk. It's really about figuring out what kind of environment you work best in.
I like that. And
Oh.
it's not just checking boxes on a list. It's about, yeah, like you said, what makes you
Mhm.
tick. And if you're really good, you can move up. This guy does a great job, I think, of showing what that career ladder can look like for a non-woven staple machine operator. It's not like a dead end. There's a real path there.
Oh, definitely not a dead end. It's
Yeah.
more like, you start with that solid foundation, you master running the machine itself, and then you learn about all the materials, how to feed them in properly, and you really get that quality control in check. Those are the basics, what you build on.
Okay, got it. So those are like the building blocks. Then
Yeah.
what comes next? Like RoleCatcher was talking about, like leveling up.
Mm.
So as you get more experience, then it's not just about running the machine.
Yeah.
You're the one setting it up, calibrating it, maybe even showing the ropes to brand new operators.
Right, exactly. And don't forget about troubleshooting because, well, machines, they're great, obviously, but they have their moments,
Yeah.
Being able to figure out what's wrong, maybe even fix it right there on the spot, that's huge. That's valuable. That's where you really start to, stand out.
I like that. So it's like going from, I don't know, playing an instrument to composing a whole symphony. Like
Yeah.
you understand how each part works, but then you start to see that bigger picture, how it all fits together.
Yeah, and what I think is really cool is that in this line of work, you never really stop learning. Like, remember we were talking about all those eco-friendly materials becoming more popular? Well, imagine, you're a senior operator, you're running the show, but you're also the one who gets to advise everyone on how to adapt all the processes to work with these new innovative materials. I mean, that's real leadership right there.
Oh, totally. That's a really good point. So it's not just about like keeping up with the industry. You're on the front line, you're shaping how things are done. Okay, so let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, this is it. This is me. I could do that. What advice does RoleCatcher have about actually landing a job? Because they have some seriously awesome interview prep stuff.
Oh, they do. Like, seriously impressive. Over 120,000 interview questions.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And the best part, it's all tailored for different careers. I mean, they even gave us some sample questions for today specifically for aspiring nonwoven staple machine operators, so we get a little sneak peek.
Yeah, and a lot of the questions are really practical. It's all about those real-life scenarios, what you'd actually deal with every day.
Right. It's not just about, do you have the technical skills? Can you check the boxes? It's about showing you can handle whatever comes up on the job. Like, one of the questions they highlight is, describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a piece of machinery. I mean, that gets right to the heart of it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's not enough to just say, oh, I'm a good problem solver.
Right.
They want to know, like, okay, tell us about a specific time when this happened. What did you do?
Yeah.
What were the steps? What was the outcome? Like, you got to show, not just tell, which I think is good advice, even if you're coming from a totally different field.
And that's why these RoleCatcher resources are so great. It's like they're pulling back the curtain, showing you what those hiring managers are really looking for.
It's like they give you the cheat codes to the interview, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Not like you're being fake or anything. It's more like, okay, here's how to really showcase what you've got, what you can do.
Yeah.
In a way that actually matters for this job.
Exactly. And you know what? That kind of prep work, it can make or break you. It's the difference between walking in there all nervous, not knowing what to expect, and walking in with your head held high, ready for anything they throw at you.
Totally. And it sounds like even beyond just knowing the technical stuff, like being able to really communicate well, those soft skills.
Yeah.
Those are super important too.
Absolutely. Especially if you want to move up in your career. Remember, we were talking about those leadership positions.
Yeah.
If you can train new people, talk to other departments, get everyone on board with your ideas, I mean, that's huge for anyone who wants to climb that ladder.
For sure. It's like you're building your toolkit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about having the right tools. It's about knowing how to use them, how to talk about them.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up this deep dive here, what's the one thing, the one takeaway you really hope our listener walks away with today?
If I had to pick one, I'd say it's about opening your mind to those possibilities you might not have even considered before. It's so easy to get stuck, thinking about careers in this one limited way, but the world of work, it's so much bigger, so much cooler than that.
So true. We put ourselves in these boxes without even realizing it. So yeah, don't be afraid to explore, ask questions, get curious about things you don't know much about, which is what we did today with nonwoven staple machine operators.
Exactly. You never know. What sounds kind of random at first could turn out to be the perfect career for you. It's all about finding the right fit.
Love it. Well, this has been so fun. I've really enjoyed taking this deep dive with you today. We really got into it. The world of nonwoven staple machine operation, all the skills involved, the precision, even the artistry, I'd say, and the fact that these fabrics are everywhere. We use them every single day.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget about the bigger picture, too, the job security we talked about, the chance to really grow, even be at the forefront of this industry that's just booming right now. I mean, that's exciting stuff.
Totally. So to everyone listening, if any of this sparked your interest, don't stop here. Keep learning. Dive into the world of nonwoven staple machine operation or any field that catches your eye. Do your research, check out those resources, and who knows, your perfect career might be just around the corner, waiting to be discovered.
Happy exploring.
And until next time, keep on learning and keep on diving.